Hello everybody, welcome back to Man Proposed Magic. Do you like elves? Because my friend Cameron does, and he has let me borrow his deck for this week's deck tech. I'm going to change the color in my background. Look, it's green now. Okay. Thank you, Cameron, for letting me borrow your deck. And yeah, this is a very aggressive elf deck. I have piloted it before myself, and I really liked it. So I'm working now on recreating it. Maybe not exactly how this is, but I'm trying to do it myself because I loved it so much. But without further ado, this is Lathril, Blade of the Elves. Yeah, that one. Lathril, Blade of the Elven Army. What do it do? The concept of this deck is simple. Cast elves, get more elves, attack with massively buffed elves. We can also cause life loss and life gain with the black in the deck. All of this creates a very fast creature-based deck that it'll just cause your opponents to panic. The categories of this deck all kind of bleed into one another, so there's no definitive line for any one of these. And you did see the title. Yes, that is the real price, minus the lands, because there are some expensive lands that he put into. But yeah, let's get into it. Elf Ramp. This deck has very few lands because of how inexpensive elves can be, and these elves will help. Llanowar Elves, Fintorn Elves, Elvish Mystic, and Elvish Harbinger. These all tap for 1 mana, and Elvish Harbinger has the added benefit of searching for any elf in your deck. Plus, they all come out really fast and help ramp into anything. Elves of Deep Shadow and Gnarlroot Trapper. These are essentially opposites of each other, tapping for either green or black and dealing 1 damage to you for the color mismatch. And Gnarlroot Trapper can give an attacking elf death touch till the end of turn. Nifty. Heritage Druid and Canopy Tactician. Both add 3 mana in different ways, either tapping elves or just tapping itself. Plus, Canopy Tactician has an anthem effect as well. Elvish Guidance. Priest of Titania, Wirewood Channeler, and Elvish Archdruid. Want even more mana? These all tap or add the ability to tap for as much mana as elves you control. And trust me, you'll have a ton of elves. Elvish Archdruid is also another anthem. Elves are already getting bigger, and we haven't even left the ramp section. Marwyn the Nurturer. She gets bigger when elves enter, and like I said, plenty of elves. And then she taps for an amount of mana equal to her power. Small elves equals big Marwyn equals big mana. Find more elves. This section is all about finding or helping cast our elf spells. Rona's Monument. This helps us cast elves even faster, and it gives a momentary boost to an elf when you cast a creature spell. Herald, King of Skemfar, and Herald unites the elves. Yeah, the Herald section. Herald is the newest elf guy on the block, and he definitely helps. He's a 3/2 with Menace, and upon entry searches for an elf, warrior, or his brother Tyvar, and puts that card into your hand. And when he unites the elves, you'll mill 3, place an elf or Tyvar card from your graveyard directly onto the battlefield. Then it gives all your elves +1/+1, and then it gives your elves an advantage in battle with the 3rd turn by making opponent's creatures smaller. Kindred Summons and Skyshroud Poacher. Both of these put elves directly into play from your library, and Skyshroud Poacher can be activated every turn if he's out, and you've got the mana for it. Realmwalker and Underrealm Lich. If you'd like card or creature advantage, these grant huge benefits while they're out. Realmwalker helps you cast extra elves from the top of your library, and Underrealm Lich helps with drawing specific card off the top 3 of your library. He's super duper handy. And you could give them Indestructible if you'd like for, not a bad cost at all. Elvish Anthems. We want to make our creatures bigger, right? Here's some anthem effects that will help. Eladamri, Lord of Leaves. If I was the Lord of Leaves, would you rake them, or would you have somebody else rake them? That's an interesting question. Alright, anyway. Yes, I know he's not really an anthem, but he does make all of your elves forest walkie, and gives your elves shroud. And that's kind of worthy of an anthem type name, right? Jiraga Warcaller as a multi-kicker, and your elves get +1/+1 for each time he was kicked. He's really good. Elvish Champion. basic Anthem with Forest Walk again, and Dwynnen Giltleaf Diane. She's another standard Anthem and gives you life gain when she and other elves attack. Elvish Clan Caller and Imperious Perfect. Yes, perfect, not prefect. I always thought it was prefect. But these two are both great anthems, and they do a thing. Elvish Clan Caller's and that's not Chancellor either. It's Elvish Clan Caller's ability is useless in Commander, but a 2-mana anthem is amazing. And Imperious Perfect can create another elf, which can combo with other elves you'll see later. Beastmaster Ascension and Eldrazi Monument. No, Eldrazi Monument is not an elf thing, but it's literally good in any creature deck. Anthem plus flying plus indestructible, and Beastmaster's Ascension grants +5/+5 to all your creatures once it has 7 counters on it, which are really easy to get, by the way, with all your little elves. Now, let's make tokens. We want more elves, right? Here we go. Elven Ambush and Elvish Promenade. Create a 1/1 elf warrior for each elf you control. These both do the same thing, and are both very good. Cast one after the other and double your elves in 1 turn. Lys Alana Huntmaster, Elvish Warmaster, and Wolverine Riders. Let's make an additional elf when another elf enters on our upkeep. The Warmaster can also give a +2/+2 and Death Touch buff, and Wolverine Riders gains us life whenever another elf enters. Pairs with Imperious Perfect and all the other spells, right? Prowess of the Fair and Nadir, Agent of the Duskgnell. They need simpler names, I think. Whenever an elf dies, we make a new one, and those that died can buff Nadir, and when he dies, you make an even more elves equal to his power. Jeepers, there's a lot of elves. Removal. We gotta protect our elves, and we gotta have some interaction with our opponents. Viridian Shaman, Reclamation Sage, and Null Mage Shepherd. Green is good at destroying artifacts and enchantments, and that's what these do. Viridian Shaman destroys an artifact, Rec Sage either or, and Null Mage Shepherd can destroy either by tapping just 4 elves, and use that as much as you want as long as you have 4 creatures. Just over and over and over again. It's probably going to be really annoying for your opponents. Assassin's Trophy and Beast Within. These are beauties. Destroy any permanent for cheap, and the drawbacks aren't scary enough to be worrisome, so play these all day, every day. Golgari Charm is a great answer-all card. Get rid of all those small pesky tokens our opponents control, destroy an enchantment, or regenerate all our creatures all at once, and it's really good for spell for only 2 mana. Ruthless Winnower and Elvish Dreadlord. Ruthless Winnower makes everyone sack a non-elf every single turn, which doesn't affect us at all. And Elvish Dreadlord, whenever he dies, all the other non-elves get -3/-3 until end of turn. Great for smaller creature board wipe, and he's got Encore, so do it again and with multiple copies. Casualties of War. This is the best catch-all destroyer of hope. Just choose one, or more. Pick of the largest things on the table, and you'll have your choice of what they are. Artifact, creature, enchantment, land, and or planeswalker. Just brutal. Life lost, life gain. Since we have the added benefits of black in the deck, let's use and abuse it. Skemfar Shadow Sage. When this enters, you can either gain life or have your opponents lose life, equal the number of elves you control. Rhys the Exiled. Whenever Rhys attacks, you gain a life for each elf you control, and you can pay black mana and sack an elf to regenerate him. Throne of the God Pharaoh. With all of our mana tappers and attacking creatures, we'll definitely have the fuel for the throne. They'll lose life faster than they can even imagine. Poison Tip Archer, Elderfang Venom, and Moldervine Reclamation. Whenever a creature dies, let's just do something. Either cause life loss, life gain, or draw a card, or some combination of the 3. Plus, Elderfang Venom gives your attacking elves Death Touch, which is no fun for anyone. Except you. Card draw. Let's draw some cards. And there's not much card draw, but, it's good. Beast Whisperer draws us a card when we cast creature spells, and we'll probably draw a lot because most of our elves cost 3 or less. Miara. Elves' names are hard. Thorn of the Glade and Skemfar Avenger. These both draw us a card and lose us a life, but you have to pay 1 for Myra to activate. But that's just such a small cost that shouldn't be a big deal with all of your mana ramp. Recovery. This small section is about protecting and recovering our elves. Heroic Intervention. This is probably one of the best protection spells just ever, giving our permanents hexproof and indestructible until the end of turn, protecting from board wipes and such. Quest for Renewal is a quest counter card, and when we have enough quest counters on it, it's basically a Seedborn Muse for your creatures. It's really good. And Seasons Past is an amazing return from the graveyard spell. Just choose one of each converted mana cost or mana value and return them to your hand. And with any luck, you may be able to cast something else from that lot afterwards. Alright, let's get bigger. Even with all of our elves and all of our anthems, we need to get bigger. Timberwatch Elf and Immaculate Magistrate. These both buff a single creature. Timberwatch Elf does till the end of turn, and Immaculate Magistrate does it in the form of counters. But 1 or 2 elves is going to be big. Finale of Devastation. Pay X, search for mana value X, and all your creatures get +X/+X, and haste until end of turn, as long as X is 10 or more. Wow, I love this card. It's so strong, and the image on the card just says it all. Let's just make our elves into dinosaurs for a turn. It's incredible. Triumph of the Hordes. Let's now win in a new way. All we need is 10 poison counters on any opponent, and giving an extra +1/+1, Infect, and Trample really helps with that cause. This is a game winner, but in a different way than we may have ended up expecting. Craterhoof Behemoth, the OG big ol' beefer. With all the elves and mana we'll have, this will be an easy to cast, and all our creatures will get super swole. Come with me if you want to lift. Toolbox. These are our answers to questions we didn't know we wanted answered. These are the bonus things that help in different ways. We've got Whisper Silk Cloak. Grant unblockable and shroud to one of our creatures, and this can be deadly with all of our anthem effects. Binding the Old Gods. This does a bunch of awesome stuff. Destroy a non-land permanent, ramp, and give our creatures Death Touch for a turn. Next we have Journey to Eternity and Growing Rites of Itlimoc. Both flip cards and both flip into lands. Atzul, Cave of Eternity, and Itlimoc, Cradle of the Sun. The former helps us return our creatures from the graveyard to the battlefield, and the latter flips into Gaia's Cradle. And it's super easy to flip. Plus, with all of our creatures, it'll tap for a ton of mana. Tyvar Kell and Freyalise, Llanowar's Fury. Here's the 2 planeswalkers in the deck. They provide killer utility. Tyvar makes your elves tap for black and puts a counter on an elf and gives it Death Touch and creates another elf, and you can possibly get an emblem that gives all your elves haste and gives you a card draw. Just bonkers. Freyalise creates basically a Llanowar Elves, and she destroys an artifact or enchantment, and she draws us a card for each green creature we control, which will be a lot. Deathrite Shaman and Staff of Domination. These are our do-all, in quotes, cards. Basically whatever you need at the time, they do. And each one has a specific cost for the specific thing that they do. You'll never be left with a puzzled look if you have either of these out. Do you want a card? Do you want to gain life? Do you want someone to lose life? Do you want to tap for mana? It just does it. Our final elf is Azuri Renegade Leader. He can really make games go longer or shorter for our opponents, making our elves regenerate or just being overrun on a stick. He's incredible in the deck, and I sure as heck love him and hate him all at the same time. Here are the tokens you'll need. Like I said, hyper aggressive. I love it. Thank you, Cameron, so much for letting me borrow this deck. Hopefully I can get some more of my friends' decks and show you guys, because I love showing off other people's decks. I don't just want to take all the credit for myself. This is not about that. Like I say, I always want a community that we can all gather together and we can just share our ideas and have a fun time together. And yeah, this is really great. I love doing it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to hit that like button and hit subscribe, as well as a little bell notification thing, so you can always find the episodes here on the channel and get notified? I am so bad at outros. Notified of the stupid videos. Okay, see you guys next time.